Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good week and are ready for a good weekend on the Friday. Hopefully I'm going to try to do a video for you guys on Saturday and Sunday as well. So you should see a lot of me on the weekend as well this weekend. But today I'm going to talk about a stock I completely sold out of. It's a relatively new position and I did a complete U-turn and went, you know what, I am going to sell out of it. And today I'm going to kind of show you the reasons why, so you can kind of get a bit of an understanding why I would make a U-turn on a stock that I was only buying a brand new position on only really about a month ago. I ended up selling for a little bit of a profit. I think it was like a 2% gain, and then I did get paid a dividend. So I'd have made about 3 or 4% return, which, you know, I guess it's okay. It's what, half of the S&P's return this year, so I guess it's not too bad. But, you know, we're not here for celebrating 3-4% gains. You know, the reason why we're doing this is the big money, the life-changing money. You know, we want to make those 100% returns. So yeah, that's obviously the more ultimate game plan. And to be fair as well, the stock is up today, and I missed out on a bit of a jump as well, which has been a little bit frustrating. So we'll get onto that in a second. Before we do though, if you do have a bit of spare time, I did go on to the Undervalued and Overlooked podcast the other day. So if you do want to go watch a 20-minute video of me on there, then obviously go give it a watch, search it in the YouTube, and it should come up. But yeah, getting onto the stock. So the stock I sold was Bytes Technology. So yeah, I only started buying this, and then I decided to walk away. Frustrating because it is up 7% today. But hey, it's one of those, you know, it shows you that transparent, you know, we can't always get it bang on perfect right. And yeah, a little bit frustrating that I missed a little bit of bounce today. But, you know, at 7% at the end of the day, you know, I'll be, we're here for bigger money than that. And one of the reasons why I'm selling this is because of another stock. And hopefully when I come back in 3, 4, 5 years time, the switch would have been, is the better option than keeping it in this position here, which I guess takes me on to number one, which is, you know, why did I sell the stock? And ultimately, I got to say the reason why I did sell my position is I just wanted the money to put into another stock. I'm probably going to reveal which the new stock is next Friday. If you do want to know in real time though, obviously the Patreon, you guys know which the new stock is. But yeah, I just needed the money to put into a new stock. Not that I needed the cash pile because I've got a decent cash pile. It was more the lack, the majority of companies I had in the portfolio. I just had too many. I felt like I was starting to have too many stocks in the portfolio. And whenever I buy a brand new stock, I look at my current portfolio and I go, would I rather own this stock than a couple of any stocks in my portfolio? And I thought, you know what? I think this new stock will outperform this stock in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We'll see if it was the right decision. And that's why I switched across. The new stock, I believe, is entering an environment that would suit it better. They've also just come out with a profit upgrade. They also are growing just as, maybe even faster than them. And it's also a cheaper valuation as well. So all the combinations were like, the only thing that was better with Bytes is you got a bit of a dividend. So it was like kind of all the combinations. That was the main reason why I kind of sold out of Bytes ultimately. Now, funny enough, so the number one reason is that I just found a stock that I liked better, and I'll reveal that now next week. But there was a couple of reasons why I also preferred this one over Bytes. If we look at the RNSs, funny enough, you might see today that they did announce a share repurchase program, which is why the stock is up a significant amount today. Funny enough, that's actually one of the reasons why I decided to sell my stock. So it just shows, you know, sometimes you just get it 24 hours a little bit too late. So yeah, one of my criticisms with Bytes is that it had, you know, a significant drop. You know, the stock fell, you know, for 35-40%. Significant drop. Now, when the stock has fallen that much and your stock fell to £3.20, this is where it comes to management to use the cash. And one of the big reasons why I bought this stock is because they had a cracking balance sheet. You look here, clean balance sheet, highly profitable. They were making, you know, 55+ million a year. And they didn't buy back any shares. Now, obviously, they have done that, so a little bit frustrating, but I don't understand why they weren't doing it a month ago. You know, it's not like they've had only a quick time to turn this around and announce a share buyback. They've had a month to decide if they're going to do a share buyback, and now they decided to do one. But now they're starting to do one at £3.90 when they could have done a share buyback at £3.20. So once again, it just kind of comes like to the management team, like, why have they been so slow to react? You know, why didn't you announce that quicker? And the other thing as well with the management team is none of them, this is one thing that I was waiting for a confidence builder for me, is none of them came in and bought on the dip. Now, eventually they have announced a share buyback, which I think was relatively slow to do. But why didn't any of them buy? That's what I just don't get with the company. That's what makes me a little bit nervous. Like, is this a longer term problem they have going on? Because if I was an insider and I thought, okay, I've just seen my company that I'm at every day, and I've just seen the stock falling nearly 40%. It's fallen dramatically. It's not been this low since what, 2020? But none of them came in and bought any shares. Why not? You'd think the insiders would be confident, like, yeah, we're going to come through this dip. It's £3, though it's been for 5 years, £3.20. I'm going to come in and buy it. And none of them did, which really threw me out. What also then I didn't like as well, when I was listening to the earnings, I went back and listened to the earnings, and they did their full year results on the, basically the 28th of May, so just call it the start of June. So they did the annual results, and in that annual results, when they did the webcast, they basically asked the question like how trading currently is, and on there they said, yeah, it's in line with expectations. Now, what I didn't like is within basically a month, the 2nd of July, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they then, on an AGM statement, like, they didn't even title it like trading update. They then came out with a major profit warning. And it's like, well, hold on. So a month ago, it was in line, and now you're doing a big profit warning where profit's going to be near where it was last year. So you told a bit of porky pies there. Like, you could have at least said, like, oh yeah, we're seeing a bit of a slow start. Maybe they're waiting for a bit more time to give confirmation about like guidance point of view. But the fact that it was like quite positive and then it went to quite negative, maybe like, a bit dodgy. And the fact that it also went under an AGM statement title, made me nervous. The other thing was obviously the moat side. I said like the major issue here is with the moat side of it, and I always said like this for me was going to be a quick like rebound that just sold off too much, and I never wanted to get this into like a longer term investment. So there was also that element from that point of view that I didn't want to get stuck into it for a longer term point of view. Another issue that I had at the moment is that they said that the trading across the first months of the year has been impacted by a challenging macro environment. Now, I've said this before, like, I think, and what I said back in April is that I think a few companies that start performing badly are going to start saying that the macro environment is the reason why, as a bit of a bit of a get out excuse of that happening. And that's clearly that a few companies have been doing that. And I look at this and I think, you look at we've just come out of Q2 earnings season, and listen to the amount of companies that have gone, yeah, no issue. And I think there's a few companies that have been performing a little bit poorly, and the reason the get out excuse is, the macro environment. And even though that this company did it, I still bought shares, and the more I thought about it, I was like, I've just gone against what I said. It's like, buying a company that's blaming the macro environment when, everything seems to be going quite well at the moment. So there was also that element that went on. And yeah, ultimately, like, I looked at the company, 14 forward times earnings, which is okay, for a company growing at these sort of levels. Yeah, it's cheap. It's not like crazy cheap. We're seeing like Warpaint, B&M, where you're looking at them sort of Card Factory. Look at them sort of companies at the moment. You're like, how is it that low? It's not that sort of level. It's cheap, but it's not crazy cheap. And after today, I think it's up to like 15 times forward earnings. So if I didn't sell yesterday, 2 days ago, I probably would have ended up on Monday, I think, actually. I probably would have sold today, to be fair, because 15 times earnings is getting towards probably fair value, I think, for this one. And like I said, the company that I've been buying is something like 10 times forward earnings at the moment, which is obviously, significantly a lot cheaper. So yeah, those are kind of all the reasons why. And just wanted to tell you guys, to be transparent about it. And also want to be transparent about, you can't always get it right. This is the thing, in the short term, anything can happen. And in the short term right now, it looks like one of those where, I should have held a couple more days. But like I said, we base this all on long term. We base this all on 2 years time, 3 years time, 4 years time, 5 years. That's what we base it on. And, what's missing out on 8% when if the investment decision in the longer term ends up being the correct decision by 80%, 100%, 120%. That's the more important part. And it's making sure you make the right decisions for the long term, make those decisions, and then when you're confident on it, hold it and stick with it. That once again kind of goes against bites that, I had all these kind of niggling issues on it. I was like, well, how willing am I to hold? One of the key things you've got to have in the stock market is patience. But if you're unsure on a company, you're gonna be less willing to have the patience if you're not sure what you own or if you're not confident in what you own. So that's why through certain stocks like Gaming Realms, for a year, I had to sit on that stock with it doing nothing for a year. But how did I have the patience to sit on it for a year and then get the rewards? It's because I sat on the company on Game Realms for a year going, this is ridiculous. Like, this should be a lot higher, 100% in my mind. And then because of that, I had the confidence to hold it and just wait for the patience for it to get the rewards in. So yeah, that's a balancing act. It's all about, like I said, I think it's all about weighing up in the portfolio sometimes, about when you get a new investment, weigh it up and go, do I like this investment more? Do I like that investment more? If you're liking that one more than that one, why hold it? You might as well switch it. And yeah, I think that was just the opportunity cost. I just like the other opportunity better. And like I said, we'll come back in 2 or 3 years' time. We'll see if this was the right decision. Hopefully it is. Apart from that, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow, where I'll probably do my UK portfolio update. Unless you're on the Patreon as well. I'm going to try to drop a few videos over the weekend on the Patreon as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you in a bit.